So okay. Yep. Here we go, folks. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. No one can deny. Well, no one can deny that we're live in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Yep. Here we go. Who said real news at noon? I actually did. Yep. There's just no way to get around it. I wouldn't even try, actually. I would not try. No. Yep. At least it's not raining. It's not the greatest day, but it's a day. It is, as a matter of fact. Oh boy. Wow. Holy cow. Wow. Rats in Warwick. Eee. Look at that. All right, 1 minute out. 1 minute out. Yep. And then we shall begin. And okay. Yep. And we're just waiting for our cue from Mr. JR, and then we go. And 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and at 12:06. Good afternoon, everyone. You're listening. You are listening. There's multiple ways to absorb the content from this program. This is, for better or worse, this will serve as the noon report, or the real news at noon, as more people are starting to refer to it. It's the John DePetro Show, AM 1380, 99.9 FM. Now, hold on. You can listen online at the website. And by the way, I want to give credit to the great Jeff Gamach. If you listen online, it is crystal clear audio. It's actually never been better. All you have to do is log on at the website, depetro.com, and then at the very top, there it is, right on the right-hand side, listen live, weekdays 11 to 2. You clip on that, or not click on that, not clip. Click on that. That's what Karen Reed said. I think I clipped him. Listen live, and it's crystal clear audio. So you can listen that way. You can listen, if you're fortunate enough, AM 1380 or 99.9 FM. Now, good afternoon to everybody tuning in. We also do a live simulcast. This is both on, it's not both, it's all three on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on X. So we continue to make it easier and easier for people we distribute and get the program out there so more people, and some people, by the way, I should mention on the website, depetro.com, if you log on under radio show, right at the top, they call it the dashboard, then you can listen to every hour is on demand. Not many shows do that. Not many shows do that. Folks, this portion of our program on this Tuesday, and it's brought to you by PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, Rhode Island's #1 garden center. Right now, locally sourced vegetables, sweet corn, native tomatoes are available. PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. Family run, local. Support this great local business. Fantastic local service. Remember, they're a full-scale nursery, and they have annuals, perennials, trees and shrubs, hanging pots, hanging impatiens, large selection of beautiful patio pots, vegetable plants and herbs, tropical mandevillas, and more. They're waiting for you. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Well, folks, if you log on at the website, depetro.com, where, again, we have links to all of our social media right there. Someone said, no, wait a minute. Where's the link to your TikTok page? It's there. It's there. You just have to scroll down a little bit, but it is there. But right at the top on the right-hand side, you see our link to Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube is right there. Scroll down a little bit, and then you also can log on at TikTok. And again, all different accounts have all different types of videos. And remember, depetro.com, proudly brought to you by the Cohasset Inn, 226 Cohasset Avenue, West Warwick. Remember what we say, lunch, dinner, or drinks with Anthony Santos at the lounge. They're waiting for you at the Cohasset Inn. And two other reminders about the Cohasset Inn. They have the market at Cohasset that is now open. Pop in there. Fresh food, ready-made meals. They have delicious Polish food there. They have different snacks. The market at Cohasset. Pop by. And the other reminder is that is a great spot to host. And some people may think it's a little morbid, but listen, dying is part of life and dealing with death is part of life. So why not have the collation lunch, which is the luncheon essentially after the funeral, and host it at the Cohasset Inn? Why? Well, they can host 40 people. They can host a luncheon for 50 people. They can host 75 people. They can host 100 people. And many times after the funeral, they announce we're all going to go to the Cohasset Inn. They have the buffet and everyone gathers to get together and, remember the deceased. So, but the Cohasset Inn can handle that. A lot of the restaurants built today can handle a group like that. Wait a minute. The Cohasset Inn can. 226 Cohasset Avenue, West Warwick. Now, we have some news that I'm just seeing start to break regarding Harris, by the way, and the vice presidential selection. And I want to just quickly, where did I see that? Boom, boom, boom. Nope, that's not it. Here it is. Let me just check the reporter. White House correspondent for Reuters. All right. Harris and her yet-to-be-named VP will hit the road next week on a battleground state tour, signaling the decision process is nearing a close. So that is big. Oh, who actually broke it? Oh, yeah. Okay. Jarrett Renshaw. He's the one that broke it. This is new. Josh Shapiro's heading to the Hamptons on Sunday for a meet and greet with top party donors and Kamala Harris allies. Comes as he's being considered to be the running mate. He's not the only one going to help raise big money. New details. So now you have the North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper withdrawing from consideration. He doesn't want any part. He doesn't want any part of the Harris campaign. So now this is new reporting. Harris VP shortlist stacked with contenders who can raise big money. So Vice President Harris options to be her running mate have their own fundraising strengths. Governor Josh Shapiro, Senator Mark Kelly, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz are among those under consideration. Shapiro is heading to the Hamptons Sunday for a meeting with top party donors. So Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro will rub elbows this week, group of Vice President allies, at a meet and greet in the Hamptons. Senator Mark Kelly has raised money for those working for tech giants. Both these lawmakers have two things in common. They're among those being considered to be the running mate, and they can help raise a boatload of money for her heading into November. A Harris fundraiser, any of these VPs could make it work. They all have different strengths. In addition to Shapiro and Kelly, Harris' team is vetting Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Pete. Now, I don't know. Well, he must have been vetted to be named Transportation Secretary. He must have been vetted to be named Transportation Secretary. So who's not on that list? Well, first of all, former Rhode Island Governor and Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, as I have told you, is not on that list. Who else is not on that list? The governor of Kentucky is not on that list. So now it doesn't mean they're totally out of it, but she certainly seems to be circling the governor of Pennsylvania and also this senator from Arizona. Shapiro hits the Hamptons. Fundraising strengths could be on full display on Sunday. Heads to the Hamptons for lunch with top party donors at this person Kempner's home in Watermill. Starting with Harris at the top of the ticket, many governors, senators are ready to be partners. None more so than Josh Shapiro. And this is the person that wrote the invite. You're going to love meeting him, be inspired. The event is not technically a campaign fundraiser. In fact, the invitation has a donation link at the bottom for Shapiro's statewide reelection campaign. That's interesting. So his campaign for governor set new fundraising and spending records for Pennsylvania statewide races. In that race, Shapiro raised $1 million from billionaire Mike Bloomberg. How about that? He also raised an additional $3 million from Democrat donor Jennifer Duda, who lives in California. Bloomberg is yet to publicly endorse Harris, but some of the vice president's allies are planning to approach the former New York mayor for his support. Bloomberg has a net worth of over $100 billion. Shapiro is one of the more moderate contenders to be the running mate. This is the governor of Pennsylvania now. He supported a Republican-backed state plan to send $100 million to families for private school tuition and school supplies. Now, the plan was ultimately scrapped. He is apparently a big charter school proponent. This is the governor of Pennsylvania now. Shapiro has taken a pro-Israel stance regarding the 10-month war on Hamas, although he has acknowledged Palestinian suffering. Shapiro is also an advocate for gun reform legislation. Then you have this Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona. When it comes to fundraising, Kelly has the advantage most running mates do not, a record of support from the tech sector. That's interesting. Unless they feel they're already going to get that. I don't know. So now he's the senator from Arizona, as I said. Astronaut. His 2022 reelection campaign raised, this is from CNBC, by the way, almost $90 million. Think of that. Kelly, though, could have his detractors in the tech sector. He introduced a bill that would require internet giants to contribute to the FCC Universal Service Fund program. I don't know what that means. Walz has strong union support. So this is the guy from Minnesota. I don't know about that. He's the big union guy. Maybe they promise him some kind of role within the cabinet. Walz could have a tougher time making inroads with kind of donors or meeting with Shapiro this week in Silicon Valley. Anyone that feels organized labor has too much power. So, and then Mayor Pete has his own fundraising network. Of course he does. I don't think she hires or chooses Mayor Pete. So now that's interesting though, folks. Again, that they're going to, she's planning on hitting the road next week. I think Pennsylvania is a very important state to try to get. So if she feels that the governor of Pennsylvania, Shapiro, could deliver. It's sure starting to seem like maybe they're going to try him out this weekend. Maybe they're going to try him out this weekend. And I want to touch on that just for a moment. In regards to President Trump, they need to, I'm going to talk about that. This is new, though. FBI director says they may have found a social media account belonging to the Trump shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks. He espoused anti-Semitic, anti-immigration, pro-political violence views as described as extreme in 2019 and 2020. Well, how old was he at the time, though? Because if that's the case, I don't know if he's 20 now. You're talking about that he was saying this stuff when he was 15 years old. So I don't know about that. We also just see that Brian Newberry, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. The Democrats are literally holding whites-only calls that are being praised by Richard Spencer. MSNBC is busy insisting a dad of 3 mixed-race children only wants white kids in America. That's how they're trying to attack J.D. Vance. Again, I don't think that stuff really gets into it as I don't think it's going to have much of an effect on that. But this Josh Shapiro out of Pennsylvania, this could be an interesting pick simply because what type of strength he may have in that region. Now, Brett Baier, I'm seeing that Brett Baier, Fox News, reveals the rumor why Biden really dropped out of the race. I'm going to get to that, folks, in just a moment. And again, good afternoon. And I am going to touch on the Warwick situation. Warwick police have put out new information. There's also now a state police investigation into the school committee in Warwick that has certainly been problematic for some time. But folks, I first want to remind you, this Race to the White House update, and it's brought to you by Propane Plus. For all your propane needs, call Propane Plus today, 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus. Heating and cooling, the Johnson family, they're available for you 24/7. You can find them online at propaneplus.com. Call them today in online. Propane Plus, you just put in residential or commercial. You can depend on Propane Plus. So I want to see what is the Brett Baier rumor. Fox News anchor Brett Baier reveals the rumor why Biden really dropped out of the race. Who's taking over the White House and issues an ultimatum to his critics. Brett Baier thinks the White House owes his network an apology, won't be holding his breath. In an exclusive interview with Daily Mail, the anchor executive editor fired back who sought to undermine his reporting on Biden's record of disturbing public incidents. And while Baier is not yet ready to declare a White House cover-up, he's not ruling it out, certainly not done investigating who knew what and when. There was clearly an effort to prevent some of what they knew about his health from getting out. We're going to find out that there's a lot more to this. When did the epiphany happen? You know, Biden has never mentioned, he has not revealed what was it that got the president to leave the race. For his part, Baier revealed he's heard potential explosive rumors that former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi was threatening to release polling that undermined his case for staying in the race. And he said Obama was exerting his influence behind the scenes to push Biden off the stage. Now, this is the Daily Mail, who I think, by the way, they have great sources. They're always way ahead of everybody else. The Daily Mail always has the story. In our interview, Baier also questioned who's in charge of the White House. Now you're going to have Kamala Harris, who is in fact, now you're going to, hold on one moment, folks. Again, minor problem. right. Now the Facebook part is fine, but suddenly, and I don't know exactly what happened, that suddenly we're having a. Okay, I'm going to lock back on. Hold on one moment. Not sure exactly what caused that, but we're going to go right here. Okay, there we go, JR. Sorry about that. You know, folks, again, technically, who knows? All of a sudden, one moment, it's fine, and then the next minute, it drops out. It's 12:23, and you're listening to the John DePietro Show. It's AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. Sorry to startle everyone, but as I was going through this Brett Beer interview, I think that's interesting how we did hear that was behind the scenes that they were essentially threatening him and trying to force him out of the race. I don't know. I think it's a little bit of clickbait with this simply because there doesn't seem to be a major bombshell that he's dropping there, other than the fact that that's interesting that Pelosi was going to release the numbers. But I think that is, by the way, a line of attack that I think that the Trump campaign should go into. And what do I mean by that? I mean, instead of just throwing out insults, I think that's something that does carry weight with the voters. I think that's something that if they would zero in a little bit more, I think those are legitimate questions that why was she standing by, meaning Vice President Harris, why was she standing by when it was very obvious that the president was not up to doing the job, and certainly not up to doing the job for another 4 years. I want to remind people need to remember this is still less than 10 days ago that this happened. Up until 10 days ago, he was still the candidate. And so this business that I think that's a line of attack. Now, if you heard last hour, I did mention President Trump was on Laura Ingraham last night. And I've noticed something, and that is right now, the Trump campaign, he's very slow to pivot or really relax and listen to the questions that are being asked. And I don't mean that in a good way, but it is something that I picked up on. And I played it earlier, Laura Ingraham was saying about over the weekend when President Trump said, vote, and then 4 years from now, you're not going to have to worry about it. And she threw him a lifeline and said, because you won't be able to run again in 4 years. But instead of taking that lifeline, President Trump continued. It was like he wasn't even listening to her. He so went into then saying that the Christians don't vote. And it's the craziest thing. Then he starts saying gun advocates don't vote. So, but she was giving him an answer. Like, I consider that when Laura Ingraham is sitting down with President Trump, I view that as it should be, which is it's a friendly interview. She's not looking to make him squirm. She's not looking to embarrass him. But if you watch that, and I played the sound of it, she was giving him an answer. She was giving the answer, and he just kept going around. And what should have been quickly, I just meant that I can't run again in 4 years. That's all I meant. Boom. Asked, answered, end of story. Instead, it's this 20-minute thing that he's saying, it's the oddest thing. Christians don't vote. Then he starts going after the gun people. And as I'm listening to that, Laura Ingraham is trying to rein him in. And Laura Ingram's trying to say, Mr. President, I'm giving you the answer. You don't have to say, they're trying to say what he meant was it's going to be a dictator. We're not going to have an election. We're not going to have elections anymore. So there were a lot of different ways to answer that. But it's a little, come on, we have to deal in reality. Right now, President Trump is standing by J.D. Vance. Now, there are people that are saying that he should jump off J.D. Vance. There's a piece I read this morning, I think in the New York Post, saying almost like in golf, when you take a mulligan, you hit a bad shot and you take a mulligan, that J.D. Vance, what is surprising about J.D. Vance is the things that are coming out. I just hope that they've been aware of this and they still felt it had no bearing. The only problem that I see would be if, in fact, this stuff about JD Vance, and he was on a Zoom call with some donors, and for whatever reason, either he or the people with him don't fully get that someone is recording this and then they're leaking it. So you have to be, I didn't say it's not right, it's not fair, but you have to be on guard, because then JD Vance throws out, well, Kamala Harris, she's younger, it was definitely like a sucker punch. We were kind of thrown by it. I mean, you don't want to say that. And so as much as, we could say, well, listen, this is all new to him, and it is, and he didn't mean it that way. They're going to take everything you say and they're going to try to flip it. But I want to play this cut because I think it's Laura Ingraham, I thought, was giving the president an opportunity to just flesh it out a little bit. And instead, that he just gets like down a rabbit hole, this business that Christians don't vote. And that you don't need to go there. So then I still don't know what that means. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by Royal Exteriors. If you're thinking of getting a new roof, call Andrew at Royal Exteriors today, 401-533-9989. Whether it's for a new roof or siding, Royal Exteriors, 401-533-9989. You can also look for them online at royalexteriorsri.com. Look for them on Facebook. If you're listening right now or watching on this Tuesday and you've been thinking of getting a new roof, or you need a new roof for your home or business and or siding, contact Andrew at Royal Exterior, where the customer is always king or queen. 401-533-9989, 401-533-9989. Royal Exteriors, where the customer is king or queen. Get them into the mix and let them pitch your business. Now, I am going to get to some of the other local news of the day, but I do want to play this where Laura Ingraham asked President Trump, telling Christian backers they're not going to have to vote again in 4 years. So what I don't understand that is she was essentially handing him like what the answer could be. Because again, I get that he's wound up on a lot of different things.
You for other ridiculous reasons. They're saying that you said to a crowd of Christians that they won't have to vote in the future.
Yeah, let me say what did I mean by that. I had a tremendous crowd speaking to Christians. This was a crowd that liked me a lot. I think I'm at 97% or something. And they're treated very badly by this administration, okay? Catholics are treated unbelievably. They're like persecuted. And if I might say, before I go into the other, Jewish people, if you're Jewish and you vote for Biden or the Democrats or Kamala or whoever's going to run, I guess it's going to be her. But if you voted for her or the Democrats, you should have your head examined, because nobody's ever been treated so badly by this. This administration is destroying Israel, et cetera, et cetera. So with respect to like a statement like I made, that statement is very simple. I said, vote for me. You're not going to have to do it ever again. It's true, because we have to get the vote out. Christians are not known as a big voting group. They don't vote. And I'm explaining that to them. You never vote. This time, vote. I'll straighten out the country. You won't have to vote anymore. I won't need your vote. You can go back.
You meant you don't have to vote for you because you have 4 years in office.
Look. Christians are known. You know who else does?
All he has to say is, that's exactly what I meant. That's what I meant. I can't run again. I had 4 years. I want to get another 4 years. Vote for me. You'll never have to vote for me again. That's all you have to say. And then move on to the next topic. But
gun owners don't vote.
But just to be clear, what you're saying, though, you're not saying it's being interpreted as you are not surprised to hear.
No,
by the left as well. They're never going to have another election. He's saying there's not. So can you even just respond to that?
I said Christians. I started off by saying, just so you understand.
He starts repeating the same thing over again. Again, I'm not saying it's the end of the world, but I don't know. Just take, like, here's my thing. He's not absorbing what Laura Ingraham is saying. She's giving him the answer. She's giving him an opportunity to just, I don't want to, kind of clean it up a little bit. He's not absorbing it. He starts repeating the same thing over again.
Christians do not vote well. They vote in very small percentages. Why? I don't know. Maybe they're disappointed in things that are happening, but for a long time, I say, you don't vote. I'm saying go out. You must vote. November 5th is going to be the most important election in the history of our country. Whether you vote early or not, we should have, by the way, one-day voting. We should have voter ID. We should have proof of citizenship, and we should have paper ballots, okay? That's what we should
Totally.
have. But we don't have that. But I said to the Christians in the room, thousands of them, I said, typically Christians do not vote. Why?
My point is, this is 2.5 minutes. Just say to Laura Ingraham, I just meant I'm not running again. This is the last time you have to vote.
I don't know. You're rebellious. Something's going on. Don't worry about the future. You have to vote on November 5th. After that, you don't have to worry about voting anymore. I don't care, because we're going to fix it. The country will be fixed, and we won't even need your vote anymore, because frankly, we will have such love if you don't want to vote anymore.
Again, I clearly am rooting for the president, but that's a little alarming to me. And I'll tell you why. This is a friendly interview. He's with Laura Ingraham. You know what else I don't understand, quite frankly, is, folks, I am very frightened at our way of life and how we are going to be impacted with Harris. If she should not be the president. Harris should not become the president. But what I'm a little concerned about is why President Trump would suddenly even waffle at the idea of debating her. I think he would be great debating her. And I'll tell you why. Let me finish the sentence. I believe he should in no way hesitate to debate her, because they have such different views of how the country should run. And I think right now more people would agree with him. So I don't understand this business that they were even, because then I heard he said, we'll probably end up debating her. I don't understand why you wouldn't debate her. I would think he'd welcome a debate as soon as possible. Look what happened. As soon as he debated Biden, they had to pull Biden out of the race. He exposed it. Harris would be different. She's not elderly. I think she's 59. She's going to be 60. But it's the same thing. I would think President Trump would welcome the opportunity to debate her. This is his whole issue on top of the economy, but it's the border. And because of her, the border is a disaster. I would think he'd welcome the debate. That part I got to admit, I don't understand why they would be hesitant even in any way hesitate at the idea of debating her. Now, I do want to touch on, we have an update with the situation in Warwick, and then also this business of the pets and the rat poison I want to get to. Folks, and the state police investigation into Warwick. Folks, this portion of the program, though, if you're thinking of getting a new fence, maybe that's you for your home or business, FenceRI.com. FenceRI.com. Call them 401-732-0555. Someone sent me an email. How can I find them online? Let me think about that. FenceRI.com. Why don't we start there? The premier fence and deck contractor. Quality, communication, and value. It's FenceRI.com. And remember, listen, give them a chance to earn your business. FenceRI.com. $200 discount if you mention our show. Wood deck construction, 5-star rating, licensed and insured. If you're listening right now, maybe you're thinking of getting a fence because you're getting a new pet. That happens many times, the most recent. Maybe you want more privacy. Maybe you want more security. I heard from a business person. He put some picnic tables in the back. His employees used to sit out there, have their lunch in the nice weather. Suddenly they started coming in, and there's homeless people sleeping under their picnic tables, leaving trash. He suddenly realized, okay, I need to put a fence up around there. Folks, call FenceRI.com. Pool fencing and also security. Many times, if you listen to when you watch Road Patrol, when we're out, we'll hear the police saying there's someone, a suspect, blah, blah, blah description. They have a gate and a fence, and the person's trying to get through the gate, or they're trying to get through the fence. But what we're listening to is they're unable to get through the fence and the gate. Folks, fenceRI.com. And on top of that, remember, the premier fence and deck contractor. A deck changes your life. 401-732-0555 for fenceRI.com. Folks, again, you're listening to the John DePietro Show. It's AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. I want to just get to this bizarre story. I don't know what to make of the fact that someone or it's several people, I don't know if kids are doing this or, oh, wait a minute. This is new. U.S. attorney, 4 people charged in a scheme to smuggle drugs into Wyatt. Oh, the defendants are a Massachusetts lawyer, 2 Wyatt detainees, and a Connecticut woman. Federal prosecutors said attorney Teresa DeJoseph, 50 of Woburn, charged with possession intent to distribute a controlled substance, providing a prohibited object to an inmate and making a false statement. And then the detainees are Hassett Stefford of Hamden, Connecticut, Wyatt detainees Sean Hart and Samuel Douglas. So she used her credentials last July 9th to meet with Hart in a room sometimes for attorney visits. She was acting suspicious, watching officers' movements. A review of Wyatt text messages sent between DeJoseph and Hart revealed DeJoseph had sent personal photos of herself and screenshots showing Cash App or sports betting transactions that she engaged in on Hart's behalf. They stopped her December 1st. She attempted to see Hart. She was carrying 10 sheets of paper that appeared to be soaked in synthetic marijuana. The paper confirmed drugs. So odd. Wyatt detainee Samuel Douglas arranged for his girlfriend to meet with DeJoseph outside and to provide DeJoseph with contaminated papers that were seized. Wow. Attorney out of Mass. Who is this? Let me just see this. Sean Hart, 46 years old. I don't understand. Teresa DeJoseph, an attorney in Massachusetts. Well, she's off in a tremendous amount of trouble, as you can imagine. Teresa DeJoseph. Boy, you don't see a lot of those types of stories, thank goodness. Very, very serious, as a matter of fact. Let me just see if I can quickly pull up Teresa DeJoseph. Huh. Very odd. Let's see. Yep, there she is. Okay. Teresa DeJoseph, Mass lawyer suspected of giving inmate marijuana-soaked paper. Wow. Huh. Okay. Law offices of Teresa DeJoseph. There she is. All right. Now, let me get to what I was saying is more bizarre story out of but these people that are leaving these things for the pets in Foster. A senior dog rescue in Foster said a dog had to be brought to the vet and ingested rat poison that was placed on top of the facility's fence. You got to get cameras up. Wow, rat poison. One of the dogs, 8 apiece, had to be taken to the vet. So they had not seen the poison on the fences Sunday afternoon. It was placed sometime between Sunday night and Monday morning. Vintage Pet Rescue officials said they filed a police report. Anyone knows about this? I don't know who would. Vintage Pet Rescues. I don't know what to make of that. And also, then you have the story of the smash and grabs in North Kingstown. I'm going to check because I want to remind people. So you had 4 suspects they hit Rhode Island Gun and Ammo, and that is still unsolved. So it almost seemed to me, the people in the video in North Kingstown, it certainly seemed to be potentially the same individuals. But I want to get to the latest here in Warwick. So, okay, Sunday, this was this past Sunday night, update here, 9:39, 709 Quaker Lane. MVA involving a pedestrian. Upon arrival, they found 2 victims. Route 2 southbound lane of Travel 44. Nicholas Cody, 44 of Warwick, was pronounced deceased at the scene. And then Logan Barboza of West Warwick, who was transported to the hospital with serious bodily injuries. A witness remained on scene, provided a written statement to the Warwick police. So Logan Barboza, her mom is one of our viewers and followers in this horrible story. Everyone's thinking of her. Initial findings show Logan Barboza, 26 years old, traveling south on Quaker Lane when her vehicle struck 44-year-old Nicholas Cody, who was on foot in the right southbound lane. Upon getting out to check his condition, a dark-colored SUV, Jeep Grand Cherokee, struck Barboza, causing seriously bodily injury, and ran over Cody, resulting in a fatal injury. The Jeep then continued southbound on Quaker Lane without stopping. How do you not stop? You just ran someone over and then seriously hit someone else. They had to have known. I mean, it was raining and it was dark, but it wasn't a hurricane or a monsoon. So Warwick police actively investigating this incident. Anyone who witnessed it, any information, and you can also do anonymous tips. So so that person obviously is well, you have one person that is already deceased, and I want to just Cheryl Barboza. Oh my goodness. There's the daughter. Wow. Let me see if there's any update here. Nope. Daughter fighting for her life, stuck and the driver fled. Critical condition. Oh my goodness. So I want to just check. Oh wow, and there's the daughter. Former crew member at KFC. All right, worked locally. And then also, let me just check this. I don't know. I would think they have cameras around there. I would think so, but we haven't heard anything as of yet. But I would tend to believe that the Warwick police would have, or with these flock cameras. Those flock cameras are excellent, folks. That's all we can hope for, is that somehow police are going to be able to come up with the plate. But someone knows something. Someone knows of a dark Grand Cherokee that was going down Quaker Lane at that time. Hey, I want to remind you, 2 reminders. One, Don Jose's Tequila, upscale Mexican cuisine, over 45 high-end tequilas, now located right on historic Federal Hill, 351 Atwells Avenue. Don Jose's Tequila. Now, especially tonight, Taco Tuesday from 3 to 7, Sunday brunch 10:30 to 3, Monday through Thursday $26.99 3-course special. And remember, they have the back patio. Maybe you say, I want to eat outside during the nice weather. It's fantastic. Don Jose's Tequila. Very festive place, authentic, upscale Mexican cuisine, and right there on Federal Hill. Now, also, Larry sent me an email. Larry's had some foot problems. Larry was an active runner, and suddenly now he came down with a problem, and he's having trouble walking, let alone running long distances. Larry, call Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialist today, 401-949-3220. Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialist, 401-949-3220. Now, they're located right in the Smithfield Medical Center, Route 5 in Smithfield. Beautiful building, ample parking. Remember, with Greenville, they have 3 board-certified podiatrists. It's Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialists, and they perform all aspects of foot care, from skin conditions to bunions, hammer toe, plantar fasciitis. They treat injuries like fractures and sprain, digital x-ray on site. They accept all forms of health insurance. Remember, foot pain is not normal, and it really cuts into your quality of life. Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialist. Many times you get a same-day appointment, 401-949-3220, and online at greenvillefoothandankle.com. Well, folks, good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePietro Show. It's AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. Now, I'm just looking at some of the headlines. More J.D. Vance quotes come back to haunt. Harris and her VP is set Battleground State Tour. This is frightening to me. President Trump, the thing about the J.D. Vance, I want to just mention this, is what the Trump people at 1249, what the Trump people, it is imperative to do is one of two things. Then they have to really highlight Biden is still the president. So it's still Biden-Harris. You have to keep him in the mix. Kamala Harris, she has plenty of ammunition out there. She's in favor of defund the police. She's in favor of open borders. She's not a serious individual. She's never worked hard. There's plenty. But when you just start saying, she's garbage or she's trying, it doesn't resonate. It doesn't mean anything. There are legitimate criticisms of her that the media even also agrees on, by the way, and also the fact that she has been silent. But I've noticed it's as if Team Trump, that they're still a little slow to pivot into the new talking points. When we've seen some focus groups, there are two things they mention about VP Harris. Number one, the fact that she had to have known that he had declined mentally and physically, and she said nothing, number one. And number two, the border. Whether she wants to admit it or not, she was in charge of the border. And the problem we have, whether it's in Boston, Logan Airport, whether it's Rhode Island, a sanctuary state, or whether it's New York City, everywhere these, quote, migrants have fled, she is the one that you can put at the top of the ticket that has been in charge of that. She was in charge of that. Now, I want to talk about, this is a bizarre story out of Warwick. But before I do, I also want to mention, folks, who was it that asked me? There it is. Helen's thinking of getting a new kitchen. Congratulations. And asked me, who's the company that I recommend, new kitchen or bath? Helen, contact Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen, 401-433-7272. They have a beautiful design center, Greenwich Avenue in Warwick, right near Crown Plaza. Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen. They take you from concept to completion. Put them into the mix. Let them earn your business. Their code of values: respect, integrity, customer focus. By the way, Dreammaker, it's high end. I share their Facebook page. And I will put, imagine waking up in the morning and this is your kitchen. That's where you go in to have breakfast and coffee. This is your bathroom. Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen. Transition from dreams to reality. Give them a call today. 401-433-7272. Dreammaker Design Center. Beautiful. Right there, Greenwich Avenue in Warwick, right near Koch Eye and right down the street from Crown Plaza. So the mayor of Warwick has asked the Rhode Island State Police to investigate allegations that the school district improperly steered six-figure contracts to a moving company with family ties to a school employee. Now, a lot of red flags here. I don't fully understand why he didn't just use Warwick Police. Maybe that's a policy. The Warwick Police right now, they have the city locked down. The police chief in Warwick is head of the Rhode Island Police Chiefs Association. Maybe this is just a pattern and practice they do to avoid any type of potential conflict. But he contacted state police and investigate this lucrative contract to Jada Trucking, Warwick-based moving company. This is a major red flag here. Wasn't licensed to do such work on its own. How do you give a city contract to a company that isn't even licensed to do that type of work. So, and the state police confirm that they did get the referral on this. Picozzi said he first learned about it during the week of July 15th, reached out to state police after the school district launched its own internal investigation, which will, I mean, you're talking about the same school committee that had Poopy Pants Backus. Warwick City Council had that Donna Travers who was transferring. I mean, Warwick has some real problems here. So Warwick School Committee Chairman Sean Galligan, this process will determine whether or not those responsible for our daily facilities followed all purchasing laws and regulations. So where does this come in? The superintendent, we're taking this very seriously. Astro of New England, a different moving company, first raised issues with the bidding process after Astro owner Chuck Lemondola said he noticed Jada had been awarded work in late June without him ever seeing them advertising the work publicly. All right, that's a red flag. Strike one. He also highlighted that the owner, David Oliver, is cousins with the school district's facility director, Kevin Oliver, whose name appeared on Jada contract paperwork submitted over the past couple of months to the school committee. Lemondola, it stinks to high heaven. How do you have something like that? David Oliver pushed back, saying his cousin never had anything to do with him receiving the work. Kevin Oliver would not respond to a request for comment. David Oliver said he heard through word of mouth the district would need moving services for a couple of big school projects getting underway. So he approached the school construction office with an offer to take on the work. One contract worth $105,000, second contract $200,000, but later rescinded after concerns surfaced about the bidding process. It doesn't sound like there was a bidding process. Kevin Oliver, my cousin, was not included. David Oliver acknowledged, maybe I made a mistake asking for the work. He didn't realize he didn't have the proper license. How was he even awarded the work, though? In the past, David Oliver said he would typically operate as a subcontractor under the company licenses, Astro. It was an honest mistake on my end and my cousin. Lemondola first raised his concerns with the district, then elevated the issue to Picozzi after he said the district blew me off. Boy, that's good to know. Doesn't that sound familiar in Warwick? Picozzi confirmed the second contract initially awarded had been rescinded. How about the school committee? Of course, but do you see a pattern in Warwick? They blew the guy off. Hey, you gave out that contract illegally. Nothing. You know, Warwick to me, and folks, I have said this in the past, it's such an underperforming city. The city of Warwick could work and be so much more attractive if they had better leaders in city government, but it's as if they're just content. Now you have, whether it's someone on the city council like that Travis, or then you have someone on the school committee, Poopy Pants Backus. I just don't know what it would take for the people of Warwick. You know, I actually know the answer. It would take more people getting involved, running for office, and making the decision that Warwick schools could be so much better than what they are. People would move to Warwick. More people would move to Warwick. But it's just their form of government. And granted, under Scott Avedisian, the city went backwards, not forwards. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by AJ Drywall Plasters and Home Improvement. Now listen, if you've been thinking of improving your home or business, call AJ today, 401-323-9252. Frame to finish basements, acoustical ceilings, new homes, additions, commercial rehabs, painting, remodeling. Have you been thinking of painting the inside of your home or your business? AJ Drywall Plasters and Home Improvement. Call them today, 401-323-9252. 401-323-9252. 9252. Again, acoustical ceilings. Do you have an unfinished garage or an unfinished basement? AJ, home improvement. More people are fixing up their current home instead of moving or trying to move, realizing there isn't really a lot of inventory. 401 323 9252. I share their Facebook page. Well, folks, good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePetro Show. It's AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. I feel terrible for the Barboza family. I mean, that girl, the daughter, Logan, who's 26 years old, was traveling on Quaker Lane. I don't know the circumstances of how she hit that individual. She did the right thing. She did the right thing in stopping and then trying to assess how badly the man was hurt. And then instead, she's now in very serious critical condition as someone came flying along and not only hit her, but then ran over the person. But she did the right thing. But I also want to reiterate, for those of you that watch Road Patrol, we go through this every night. People dart out into the road. How many times, especially, I know this, I think there's just different pockets that people just think they can run across the road. That section of the road is, the speed limit. People easily go 45 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to break for the 1 o'clock news. Yes, Road Patrol Live later. And folks, Donna Perry joins me next hour to talk about the race for president. It's all ahead. Another hour to go on the John DePetro Show.